Hello, Jessica, and anyone else out there who's curious about the difference between white privilege, which you asserted that I have, and American privilege, which is what I definitely have. And it was my take a moment, so just get comfortable. You're going to learn a lot. And I wanted to start off with the hat forward, just to remind you that I'm from California, and I wish to God, I hope to God one day we will be a republic completely separate from New York and the many, 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 many other confused states with which, we don't really vibe. To be honest, California should be broken up into pieces. A lot of us don't really vibe with each other, but at least we all should at least respect wildness, respect liberty, respect the fact that we live in the wild, wild west and that spirit isn't dead yet, okay? Unlike New York, I have no clue what the fuck you guys stand for other than having a shit ton of elitist people who are paying an arm and a fucking leg to live in a place where you could literally not pay me to be. I've been there during some of your guys' best months. Miss me with that shit. It is incredibly expensive, and for no reason other than you're just around a bunch of elitists and money and confused Americans who don't know how to spend their money. But that's neither here nor there. I just thought I'd start with that just to make sure that we're all on the same page. I do have love for y'all, Jessica and Patricia, but, got to call a spade a spade. So when, Jessica, you decided to say that I was white and privileged, I don't know if you took into effect the fact that I am not some sort of WASP, which, by the way, if you're trying to use that word legitimately and you're trying to associate the color white, which, to be completely honest with you, I'm darker than you. I was darker than you when I met you, and I'm still darker than you today, probably getting more dark compared to you, judging by your Facebook photos. I haven't seen you in a minute, but really though, colors aside, because that wasn't an accurate description, when people try to associate white with privilege, what they're talking about is the long tradition of white Anglo-Saxon Protestant power in this country. Every single president, with the exception of John F. Kennedy, was WASP, 100% WASP. Obama was 25% WASP. I'm somewhere between 12 and a half, maybe 25% WASP. So I'm somewhere between about as white as Obama, but probably closer to about as white as his children, which I'm pretty sure Michelle Obama is 100% black. Could be wrong, but that's my guess. And so, anyways, that's neither here nor there. If you actually knew me well enough to know my ethnicities, you would know that I'm primarily Slavic. And if you actually knew what that word meant, or if you knew the etymology of the word slave, you would know that they're synonymous. The reason why the word slave exists is because it came into being around the time that the Slavs, a historically oppressed people, were being enslaved by the Ottomans. And so the majority of me is kind of like, you're going to associate my color with privilege. Interesting. My ethnicity with privilege. Interesting. And then on the other part of me, like I said, I'm debatably, I don't really know that much about my English or Welsh side of the family. I'm not sure to what extent I'm what. I know I got some English in me for sure. I know I got some Welsh in me for sure. Just don't know what percentages of that 25% that is that grandparent. And then I'm 25% Irish, which if you think Irish people are privileged, you have not studied history. You should get into that. But what I definitely do have that I will agree with you on, and I will also thank my parents and my grandparents and their grandparents, and depending on what part of the family you're talking about. Actually, the oldest we are is third generation. And then on my English or Welsh side, she was more recent. So second generation on that, but the rest, third generation. And so my grandparents, my great-grandparents, and my parents all worked their fucking asses off, saved their fucking money, and made sure that their generation would be more privileged than they were. That's the exact same thing that I plan to do for my kids. I hope that you're doing the same shit with your kids if you and Patricia decide to go that route. I know science will help y'all out, or you guys can adopt, whatever it is. I think you guys will make great parents. And I encourage you to instill privilege into your line, and then also the knowledge and wisdom necessary to do something positive and constructive with that privilege, which is what I think I'm doing. I don't know, maybe you have some critiques of my life. Maybe you think that I chill too much. Maybe you just don't know me that well. But I do work my ass off all day, and I'm going to continue doing that. This is a siesta beer, and I'll be back to work right before dinner. I got to get my appetite up. Got a whole truckload of chips to unload. Reforesting the SoCal Creek watershed. But anyways, I don't want to digress too much. Point being is, do I have American privilege? Abso-fucking-lutely. My parents know people, my uncles know people, my grandparents know people. The more people you know, the bigger your network is, the more generational wealth you have in your family. Those things are all going to help you out in the privileged sort of sense. Yes, of course, that is how life works. If you go to China, am I going to have privilege? Fuck no. In fact, I will be so angry at everybody for the widespread docility that I would probably, in addition to not being privileged, I would probably be imprisoned over there. I just can't stand that whole mindset, that whole fucking automaton, docile as fuck, just like widespread effeminate. Ugh, like just, I couldn't do it. But just using it as an example that I decided to digress upon. But if I went to Argentina, would I have privilege? Fuck no. If I went to Egypt, would I have privilege? Fuck no. If I went to Israel, would I have privilege? Fuck no. The point being is that anywhere you go, you're not going to have privilege unless you work your fucking ass off to have privilege in that country. That's how life works. So sitting around and pointing at people and judging them by the color of their skin, we have a word for that. It's called fucking racism, and it's evil. And it's something that you should get out of your fucking ideology, get out of your psyche if you want to connect with people on a real basis. And I don't mean to get fucking angry with you, but really though, you're drunk on your own fucking estrogen if you think that it's okay to point at people and tell them because of the color of their skin, which like I said, I'm darker than you are. If we're being fucking honest, you're probably lighter than my fucking butt cheeks, to be honest. I like to expose those things. But just wake the fuck up. No one's trying to say that New Yorkers, each and every one of y'all, are spoiled and privileged. But if I do make that generalizable statement about that state, that's not talking about you specifically. I know that there's majority and then there's exceptions. I tend to like exceptions. If you are exceptional in New York and you aren't one of the unhealthy, spoiled, privileged people, which by the way, I wouldn't have assumed you are, you and Patricia both run what seems like a very awesome yoga studio where you not only take care of your own health, but you help others to do the same. And so all I would say is that before taking offense to something that I made a generalizable statement about New York, and that's just because the cost of living is stupid high and the quality of life is stupid low. So you got to be some kind of privileged and confused to wind up in that state. That's my opinion. But that's neither here nor there. I mainly just want to make this video kind of short, kind of to the point. I might make a video in the future that's less personalized, but putting out the same information, or I might not. Who knows? Dr. Freedom's a busy man. So Jessica, Patricia, anybody else out there who uses white as a pejorative, it's wrong on so many levels. First of all, it's wrong because you're being racist. Second of all, it's wrong because white is an aspect of Americanism, and it was actually started around the time when they wanted to start breaking the American people away from their ethnic strongholds. They wanted to start stomping the Italian neighborhoods into dust. They wanted to start stomping the Irish neighborhoods into dust, the Polish neighborhoods, yada, yada, yada. All the ethnic diversity with their own language, their own culture, their own customs. We're all trying to be crushed so they can become Americans and be dependent on the state. And so they started using that. They started saying white all the time and describing European Americans, who were the founders of this country, as white. And it was just a way to pit white people against black people, and in doing so, create conflict. So just trying to educate you guys. I hope that helped. For some of you guys who have heard that before, who don't know really how to respond, that is how you respond. Jessica and Patricia, if you guys continue to use that word in the future, just know that I will take it as an insult upon insult upon insult, because you're not only trying to knock me based off the color of my skin, which like I said is racism, but you're trying to destroy all the many cultures that make up the European peoples, none of which deserve to be destroyed. So I wish you all the best with your yoga studio and life in general. I look forward to the time when I get to visit the States and hopefully get to check out your studio, in real time. But until then, wish you all the best. I hope you can make it through this coronavirus pandemic with your head intact and realize that I don't speak from a place of confusion. I speak from a place of knowledge. I've been studying holistic health for about 2 decades now. I've been practicing it for probably about a decade on myself and now others. And in addition to that, I know exactly the beast that is allopathic medicine because I spent from 18 to 28 working within that broken system that refuses to be fixed. And so I can speak with absolute clarity on what is happening in allopathic medicine, which is disease-based medicine, which is not only the current status of the American people, diseased, but it is also the goal of our healthcare system, to keep people diseased and stressed and unhealthy so that they can constantly be taking in our money. They're fucking goblins. And the fact that you guys are thinking that they're the solution, wake the fuck up. Prayers go out to you, Jessica, especially. Patricia, especially. Get some sunshine. I saw on one of your comments to me, Jessica, you said that you had just been really sick recently. Get that vitamin D up. Get it tested. Tell me what it is. I can tell you some remedies, tell you some things that you could be eating to make it rise quicker, and I could also help you out get a little bit more sunshine even in your neck of the woods so you can raise your immunity hormone and in doing so protect your own immunity so that you don't need to fall prey to the many, 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 many people who are unhealthy and sharing germs with each other and getting each other sick. I share germs with people. People don't get me sick though because my immunity is on point, and I encourage y'all to get to that same point. I haven't been sick since 2009, and that was right about when I started practicing holistic healthcare on myself, and now I'm helping out others do the same. And I hope you guys would join me in embracing your holistic health, refiring your immunity, and getting to a place where you no longer have to worry about things that only the elderly and the immunocompromised should be worried about. That'll do it. I am hungry and I hope y'all have a good one. I think I've said goodbye like 4 or 5 times now, but obviously I miss y'all.